Good morning. You're welcome to another edition of Import Export Platform, Facebook Live from 3 Timpers Trade Academy. My name is Dele Ayemibo, and we continue from our conversation yesterday. Yesterday we left off at the point of discussing Delta State, and this morning I'm moving on to the East State, and I'm starting with Ebonyi State. There is Edo under the East State, there is Ekiti State, and there is Enugu State. All of them the East State, and most of them are in the southern part of the country. So I will be in the southern part of the country for the whole of the weekend. I will be in Edo tomorrow. I'll be traveling to Ekiti next tomorrow, and I will be in Enugu on Monday morning. So I'm still in the south. I will move on to the north on Monday. I will be in Gombe in the evening. I'll be back to Imo in the morning on Tuesday, and I will remain in the north for the rest of the week. From Jigawa to Kaduna to Kano to Katsina to Kogi to Kwara. For most part of next week, I'll be talking about the northern part of the country. For this week, I'm spending more time talking about the southern part. So today, I'm talking to Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State is one of the states I believe also have potential in the south, especially in the mineral side and in the agri side. And we've been using palm oil and cocoa for the south, and we'll be using sesame seed and sugar cane for the north. We are just creating a model for people to realize that, look, there are money to be made to be able to grow the economy, to support the people, so that the people will not live in poverty. And we are saying that it's very, very, very possible for a state government to generate all the income you need in the state, as long as you have land in your state, you have minerals in your state, you have human being in your state. You have no reason to depend on Abuja. Now, the oil price is going down. I hope it doesn't fall further. But if it falls further, the implication is that the projected budget of a lot of state government will be affected. Now, can you see what I've been talking about? That as a state government, you cannot rely. It's very unfortunate and so sad and so bad for you to rely on Abuja. If you are relying on Abuja, and you rely on one product, oil, as your source of income, anytime oil price is affected, you'll be in trouble. And most state governors are going to be jittery now. They will be afraid now. They will not be able to meet up with their promises now, but they have a good excuse. What is the excuse? Oil price drop. And you think we should accept that crap from any governor in Nigeria? Oil price drop? We know that oil price is not stable. We hire you to come and assist us as a governor. So don't tell me oil price drop. And that will be the reason why you are not able to fulfill your promises. I'm not going to accept that crap from you. If your state will accept it, I am not going to accept it. How can you say oil price drop? And that's the reason why you are not able to do what you're supposed to do. And then we are not supposed to clap for you and say, well done, oil price drop. Well done, oil price drop. Why? Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars. Today I'm talking about export-driven income generation and employment creation for Ebonyi State. Export-driven income generation and employment creation for Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State have everything it needs to survive, but unfortunately Ebonyi State have not been able to survive. In fact, Ebonyi State is among the states in Nigeria that are not earning so much, yet with so much potential. Yet with so much potential. Yet with so much potential. If you look at Ebonyi State income, well done, oil price drop. Why? If you look at Nigerian states, if you look at Ebonyi State income, let's check Ebonyi State income. Ebonyi State income was about 51 billion last year. Ebonyi State is owing a debt of about 70-80 billion naira. Not so bad like some states owing so much. Ebonyi State budget this year is times 3. I have issue with that. When your budget is more than 150%, I have issue with it. Ebonyi State is 300%. That's unreasonable. It's unreasonable because what is the source of income generated in Ebonyi State? What is the source of income generation in Ebonyi State? Ebonyi State is generating 3 million from payee taxes. Other income 1.7. So that means Ebonyi State depends largely on payee. A state where people are making much money than the governor of the state. Most states in Nigeria, corporate organization in that state is making more money than the state government. How come? So why can't the government leverage on that opportunity and make that money for the state, whereas an outsider or a citizen in the state is making all the money for himself, hiring just a few members or a few citizens of the state? Ebonyi State is generating a little above 10%. A little above 10% internally. Ebonyi State can never survive without Abuja at this rate, unless the governor change today or tomorrow. Ebonyi State can never survive without Abuja. And you know what we are trying to do? Is to let you realize that Nigerian state have no reason to be telling us this crap. That they are not able to do what they're supposed to do just because. Ebonyi State, the governor is David Umahi, deputy governor is Eric Kelechi, and it's a PDP state. Agriculture is the main occupation of that state. It is the main place for production of rice, yam, and solid minerals. Rice. You know, rice is a $20 billion business. Rice is a $20 billion business. Rice is a $20 billion business. With the potential that rice have, there is no reason whatsoever. There is no reason whatsoever that Ebonyi State should be poor. Because Ebonyi State is known for a kind of rice that we call the Abakaliki rice. So they are a major rice producing state in Nigeria. Guess what? Ebonyi State is in debt. Ebonyi State do not have money. Ebonyi State is barely surviving every month with a meager 55 billion naira. Ebonyi State is barely surviving with a meager 55 billion naira. If this meager money is what Ebonyi State is generating, that is most unfortunate. 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 A state that is a major producer of rice. A state that is a major producer of rice. Rice is a $20 billion market. Here is my proposal to Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State Governor, can you please listen to me? I want to beg of you. Can you leverage on the opportunity that most of the local government in your state can generate and produce rice? Can you leverage on that? Almost all the local government in that state produce rice. Can you imagine? All the 13 local governments in Ebonyi State produce rice. All the 13 local governments in Ebonyi State produce rice. All the 13 local governments in Ebonyi State produce rice. All the 13 local governments in Ebonyi State produce rice. I don't understand. I don't understand why this state is impoverished. I don't understand why this state is impoverished. The state government, this is my proposal to Ebonyi State. Very simple. Ebonyi State, arrange your youth into cooperative within the state. Arrange your youths into cooperatives within the state. Set up a microfinance bank to fund production of rice. Look for a very good variety of rice. Partner with an SPA company to form a special purpose vehicle. Fund the importation of machinery to process that rice in your state. Don't just sell to Nigeria, export it. Let the state be the one to make the money. Don't do side hustle. Side hustle. Empowering your youth to make money for themselves is side hustle. Empowering your people to make money for themselves and also creating for yourself avenue to generate tax is side hustle. That will not give you the money I'm talking about. The kind of fund I'm talking about will require the state buying up the product from the people and the state exporting it under its own NNPC. Ebonyi State Rice Corporation. Well, how does that sound? Ebonyi State ESRC. Ebonyi State Rice Corporation. Why can't we have an Ebonyi State Rice Corporation? That's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. Because you know what? If Ebonyi State can leverage on the $20 billion rice market, Ebonyi State will be changed forever. Ebonyi State will be changed forever. Ebonyi State have everything need to survive. So, Abakaliki, lead zinc, limestone, gypsum, marble, maize, rice, yam, potato, palm produce, mango, cassava, melon, kola nut, castor oil, pigeon, mango, cashew, cocoyam, fishery. Afikpo nut, granite, laterite, limestone, lead, zinc, marble, maize, rice, yam, potato, palm produce, mango, cassava, kola nut, cashew, cocoa, cowpea. Afikpo South, rice, maize, yam, mango, cassava, cashew, cocoyam, cowpeas, fishery, palm produce, limestone, granite, clay, lead and zinc. You see that same list of products I mentioned under agri? Almost every state produce rice, almost every state produce maize, almost every state produce palm produce, almost every state produce mango, almost every state produce cowpea. Ebonyi State, what's happening? What is happening to Ebonyi State, please? What is happening to Ebonyi State? Ebonyi State is so rich, but yet so poor. I'm thinking of what to say. I'm just imagining the humongous potential that is in Ebonyi State. It beats my imagination. The state is so homogeneous. The state is so homogeneous. When I mean homogeneous, I mean the state have everything it needs to survive. Everything is just all together. The state is so homogeneous. The state is so homogeneous. Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars. Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars. Nigerian states have everything it needs to survive. Nigerian state has everything it needs to survive. Nigerian state are billionaires in dollars. Nigerian state are billionaires in dollars. Nigerian state has everything it needs to survive. But Nigerian state is unable to survive. Courtesy is leaders. Courtesy is leaders. Why is Nigerian state unable to survive? Nigerian state are billionaires in dollars. Nigerian state have everything need to survive. Let me tell you something I know about Ebonyi State. Ebonyi State have minerals. And my take for Ebonyi State is this. That Ebonyi State is supposed to be using that minerals to generate income like the private people are doing in the state. But what I heard that Ebonyi State is doing is collecting about, is it 200 or 300 or 400,000, whatever it is, from the people in the state who are mining. And you know what people are now doing? They are now moving those goods out in the night. So even the person designated by the state to be able to collect this money, they are not able to collect it effectively. It's so interesting to note that a state like Nigeria, sorry, a state like Ebonyi State, is thinking that he will make money from just taxing the people. So someone has come to your state, he has mine lead of 60%, he's moving out 30 tons of that lead, which is costing about $30,000, which is over $10,000. $10,000 is over 10 million, and you are collecting 0.5%. You are collecting, if it's 10 million, that will be 5% of 500,000 from him, and that's enough for you. I'm not saying you should increase the tax you are giving the people. I'm saying, why are you not the one making that 10 million, Ebonyi State? Why are you not the one making the 10 million? Why are you not the one making the 10 million? You know, why are you not the one making 10 million? You know, sorry. You know, it's so interesting. You know, so it's so interesting. It's so interesting about the way our governors look for cheap, easy, quick fix ways of doing what they need to do and do with utmost seriousness and urgency. No state in Nigeria can survive depending on the taxes from the state. You know why? Most states in Nigeria do not have factories, businesses generating a lot of money like Lagos. Number one. Most states in Nigeria are civil servant states. Number two. That means it is what the government pay out that it will be able to tax. That means if the government revenue goes down, because the government depends on oil revenue from Abuja to be able to pay salaries, they won't be able to generate enough taxes. So revenue generation model that relies solely on taxes is a very, very lazy way of generating income for the state. It's a weak way of thinking. It's an unreliable and useless way of running a state. We should begin to run our state efficiently and generate the right income. You cannot have minerals in your state and you're collecting just 300, 400, 500,000 from trucks. When you can mine yourself, bring in the expatriate, mine, sharing formula, and generate the billions of dollars your state can offer rather than collecting stipend from trucks leaving your state. And I'm talking to Ebonyi State here. The Ebonyi State is not helping himself and has not done well at all. Ebonyi State is not helping himself and has not done well at all. Ebonyi State can do much more than this. But unfortunately, Ebonyi State is relying. Ebonyi State is relying. Ebonyi State is relying on what? On what? On stipend. Stipend. What Ebonyi State is collecting in the state is stipend. Very meager amount compared to Ebonyi State. Stipend. 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 Oh, Stipend. It's so interesting, really. So interesting. So interesting. So interesting. So interesting. Of what we are seeing in Ebonyi State. It's so interesting. Nigerian states are billionaires in dollars. Each time I look at this, even though I'm unhappy, it depresses me, but I'm excited of the potential Nigerian state have. That a single state in Nigeria can generate money than many other countries, even in Africa. We are just not taking advantage of what we have. So if I look at palm oil, the regular analysis we do, let me do for palm oil for Ebonyi State. You know, when I look at a state like Ebonyi State and I see the potential of the palm oil in that state, potential of rice in that state, and I look at the palm oil market of $33 billion, and I look at the rice market of $20 billion, and I'm asking myself, what on earth is Ebonyi State doing? Is Ebonyi State going to... Is it that our governor just come into power and the only thing they do is to wait for end of the month to collect allocation from Abuja and pay salary, and that's the governing of the state, and use the remaining to do one or two road, one or two building, and then we say we are governing the state? That cannot be a way to govern a state now. That cannot be a way. We can do a lot better than this. So why is it that these people have just refused to do what is necessary for their state? Why is it that we rely solely on what some people are doing in the state, generating so much money from the state? People go into Ebonyi State and make billions, and Ebonyi State is collecting stipend from them. And I'm saying, Ebonyi State, arrange your people together. Get in expatriate for minerals. I believe strongly Ebonyi State can make so much money from lead and zinc. Lead and zinc ore are one of the most traded minerals in Nigeria. Lead and zinc ore are one of the most traded products in Nigeria. Lead and zinc ore, one of the most traded products in Nigeria. If lead and zinc ore are one of the most traded products in Nigeria, the implication of that is that lead and zinc ore can be a source of sustenance. Can be a source of sustenance. Can be a source of sustenance for Ebonyi State. Just lead and zinc ore alone. Just lead and zinc ore alone can be a source of sustenance for Ebonyi State. If Ebonyi now decide to look at rice, because when you look at the market of rice compared to lead and zinc ore, rice alone swallow lead and zinc ore times 2. Rice alone. Lead and zinc ore combined lead ore is about 6, zinc ore is about, is it 12 now? Rice alone swallow zinc, swallow lead. And the beauty of rice is that, mineral is a depreciating asset. Rice, if you cultivate it very well, you can have 2 harvests in a year. So meaning Ebonyi State can make amazing income from rice. So my question is, how does our governor think, for crying out loud? How does our governors think? Why is it that our governor have decided to impoverish us? Why is it that people that we elected to lead us are unable to take decisions to increase income and revenue of the state? I'm challenging the governor of Ebonyi State today. While I appreciate whatever it is you have done in your state, I'm saying you can do much more. I'm saying you can do much more. I am saying you can do much more. So please arise and help your state. Arise and help your state. Deliver your state from abject poverty and penury. Deliver your state from abject poverty and penury. Your state deserves more than it's getting right now. Your state deserves more than it's getting right now. Ebonyi State cannot be a rice producing state, an oil producing state, palm oil producing state, and that is over $50 billion in market of export in the world, and Ebonyi State is impoverished. That is unacceptable. Ebonyi State has a land mass of about 217,000 hectares. I'm used to saying billions every day. 217,000 hectares. If Ebonyi State used half of that land to cultivate palm produce, he's going to create about 1,959 metric tons of palm fruits. If he processes that into oil at a yield of about 19%, he can generate 370,000 metric tons of palm oil. 317,000 metric tons of palm oil. At a processing cost of about 7.4 billion, and cost of farming of about 2.3 billion, and cost of export about 14 billion, the state can generate about 38 billion naira from the production and export of palm oil. Because we can sell that palm oil at about $500 per metric ton, we can sell it and generate about 186 billion, which amount to $486 million, which amount to $67 billion. 67 billion naira. And if we remove our cost of production and processing and farming, we can have about 38. Plus the local generated revenue, this state is capable of generating 44 billion naira. That is more than 80% of the IGR of the state right now. And I am saying, Ebonyi State, and indeed a lot of states in Nigeria are billionaires in dollars. They have everything they need to survive. There is no reason why those states should be poor, but unfortunately, and most unfortunately, Nigerian states are poor. I'll be coming back in the evening, and I'll be moving away from Ebonyi State. I'll be moving to Edo State. Edo State, another very interesting, lovely, and wonderful state with huge potential, strong energy of the youth. But you know what? That state is not living up to its expectation at all.